following podcast contains language that may be inappropriate for younger listeners and covers topics that could be controversial or offensive to some. If you're the former, I'm sorry. If you're the latter, I'm sorry for you. Rated M for mature.
All right, we are here and live. Well, at least live for you and me. It'll be recorded for whoever's listening. Um, so, episode 1 of a to be named podcast.
To be named.
That's it. Hopefully, we'll figure that out today. I have an idea, and I have an idea for a tag to go with the title. And you can let me know if it's cringe or shit.
Hey, we'll figure it out as we go along. You know how it goes. It's very easy for us.
That's it.
Sometimes we make gold, and sometimes we don't.
All right, so let's do just some introductions for the listener, or we'll assume at least one, because either one of my kids or my wife or somebody in your life we'll at least have one listener.
Yeah, at least 1, 2 people. We'll go from there. Hopefully, it grows, and maybe one day, we'll do another one.
That's right.
Go from there. Who's starting?
All right, so I'm gonna start just so you get an idea of the information I'm going to provide, so you can then provide whatever like information you want to.
Sounds like a plan.
And for that one listener, I want to be clear. So you have a background in broadcasting. I do not.
Yes.
And we're going to play this like the dummy with no background in broadcasting does. So we're going to stumble around, and then you're going to set me straight. So we're going to call this a cold open, right? Am I using that term correctly? A cold open?
Sounds about right. Cold open, or, in the other realm of it, a pilot,
All right.
So whatever we want to go with.
Okay,
it works.
So I'm very curious to see how you're actually going to introduce yourself, because you have multiple facets to you, whereas I think I'm pretty singular in my description. You can go a couple different ways. So once you hear how I do it, I'm curious to see which of your personas you're going to introduce into this world.
Let's go. I'm waiting to see what you got.
All right. So I'm Dave Swinson. I am straight white male, which I believe in today's woke society makes me public enemy number 1. But doesn't change the fact, straight white male, even though I prefer other, because fucking white people. But I'm old, so I was born in 1974, born and raised in southeastern Virginia. So for anybody that is familiar with cities or within Virginia, put me close to Norfolk, as locals would call it, but Norfolk if you're just reading the word. 1974, if you can't do the math, makes me 50. So old, straight white male. Married for a long time now. 4 grown kids, 1 granddaughter, and a grandson on the way. Now, the southeastern Virginia piece is important because I will define myself as being from the South. Don't know that everybody would, but Richmond was the capital of the South in the Civil War, so I'm going to say Virginia is the South, not deep South. I am not Alabama, Louisiana South, but I am the South. So, just for the premise of this, I don't think any of my professional background is relevant, me as a person relevant right now. So that's how I'm introducing myself. Now, how are you going to introduce yourself?
Well, first, before I even start, I'm going to applaud a couple of things. I'm going to definitely clap for a couple of things. I think once we get some sound bites, we can insert some claps here and there. Great straight white guy, straight white male. Absolutely. For the math portion, yes, 50. Wow. Congrats, man. That's that's a milestone, especially in today's society. That's a milestone. So yes, a couple of applause, and we'll get back into the rest of them later. Um, moving forward, I am the straight black guy. My name is Sean, DJ Custom Summers. That was be what they called me. Radio background gave me the name of DJ Custom. Well, I had that name before I got into radio, but the radio background allowed that to flourish even so far beyond as where I'm still walking around talking to people and I have no clue who they are. I just speak because I'm a nice guy, uh, to try to be cordial. I was also born in the 70s. 77 is my year. That's 3 years after you. So I will be turning 47 this year. Um, Now, I will say this to help us both out. Neither one of us look like we're the age that we are. So let's just go ahead and put that right there. We do not look 47 or 50. I know plenty of black women that like Dave. Just so I put that out there. They try to flirt with him a lot. But he's been married for a while and he pays them no attention. So another applause would go right there. Kudos to you, my friend. Um, I'm originally from New York, Queens, New York. Uh, Background single parent household. My mother raised me and my sisters. I have an older sister who was not raised in our household, but we can get into all of that type of stuff later on. But single parent household, grew up in New York, went through the school system of New York system back then, great education system. Graduated high school in New York, came down to Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, got down here and found out it was pronounced Norfolk, Norfuck. Um, but got down here and found out how they say it, and came out here and went to Norfolk State University. And I've been here on and off ever since for the last 30 years. So that's my stamp on me. Background in radio here in Virginia. A lot of DJing, a lot of parties, a lot of things that we can always touch on and touch base with. Married a couple of times, didn't work. We can talk about those as well. Trash. On my part, I'll go ahead and step in and say I made some bad decisions. But moving forward, I just want to see where this is going to go because there's a lot of stuff going on that me and Dave have talked about for a while. And for us to finally get on this platform where we can put our discussions to the chosen two people that might be listening in the beginning. let's let's see if they agree with us or tell somebody else that they might want to listen in and we see where we go from here. That's what I got for right now.
I don't even care if they agree with us, as long as they like listening to us. Because God knows we ain't always right, but we
Absolutely
always got
not.
some shit to say.
Always, always. My shit is always right sometimes.
Yeah.
Make that make sense if you want to.
Right.
Sometimes it's always right.
So I want to applaud you, one, for bullshitting the audience into saying that we don't look our age. You may look younger. And it may be an accurate statement that we don't look our age, because I'm pretty sure I look older than 50 at this point. And I made the mistake of I'm actually recording video and audio on this
Mm.
in the event that we want to do it. So it'll be there, and if we decide to put it up, we'll let the audience decide. But the amount of gray that I have now on what hair is on my head, which is all beard, not on the top.
Yeah, but see, that's the difference between, see, so the way we talk, this is just me and you. The way white people age is different from the way black people age, though, man. So your beard growth has made you look a little bit older than what you actually are, but you don't look as, plus the fact that I know you. But sometimes white people age a little bit different, man. They look older than what they are. And I think that's only because of the beard for you at this point. I really believe that's the beard for you at this point, because I've seen some white people and I'm like, yo, what are you, like 40, 52? And they like, nah, I'm like 27. I'm like, get out of here. What are you doing? I don't I don't understand it, but you're okay. It's the beard for you, my friend. It's just the beard.
The damn white folk genetics.
Hey,
The
I don't know what it is, man. I have no clue. I mean, we could speak on a couple of things that it might be, but then I might be wrong. So I don't, I don't know. I don't know.
maybe
It's just my
maybe we'll
views.
get a medical professional on at some point that can set us straight on why white people age like trash and black folks and Asians stay young forever.
I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's melanin. I have no clue. But we got to figure that out. I think that's something that the world needs to know because we've been living with this for all our lives, and it's always been a question. It's always been a question. I want to know why. I can't tell. I look at an average white person and I cannot tell you how old they are, unless they're a child.
Uh, See, I think all kids look like, well, that might not even be an accurate statement, right? Because there's some little kids that look like straight old people, but gener- generally, little kids just look young. They look like kids.
Right.
Disproportionate people, great big wobbly heads, no coordination.
Absolutely. I've seen that. That's why I laughed because I've seen that. But then I'm looking at some kids that's like in high school, and I'm like, I mean, how far out is your social security check? Trying
That's
to figure that out. So I don't know. Sometimes it crosses the line. I just don't know, where to stand on it. But I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out moving forward.
so
Figure it out.
when I said I was interested in how you were going to introduce yourself, I was wondering if custom was going to come out. If you were going to
Oh,
go Sean, or if you were going to go custom, and you went both.
I went both. I went both because if you know me, it's the same guy. It's really the same guy, but I do not allow people that don't know me to call me by my government name. That's just what it is. And in this business that I've been in for so long, and if that's the way you knew me as Custom, DJ Custom, then there was no reason for you to yell out Sean and think that I would respond because I'm listening for a voice that I recognize calling me by that name. And if I don't recognize that voice calling me Sean, I'm walking and I'm still ignoring you because I don't recognize you as somebody that knows me as Sean. When you say custom, you can be anybody. And that's what I said earlier. I still walk up to people or bump into people as I'm out and about. And they're like, hey, what's up, custom? And then that's me being cordial. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? All right. Good to see you. I have no clue who this person is, but I know they recognize me from radio, clubs, stuff like that. So I continue to be cordial. You say what's up, Sean. I feel like we got some type of relationship. I should know you from somewhere. So yeah, I had to go with both. I did have to go with both.
So
Confusing to some.
we're close in age, right? 3 years, so we're the
Mhm.
same generation,
Absolutely.
two different racial backgrounds.
Absolutely.
You would be
Yet
class.
hold on. You somewhere there's some black in you. Pause. No Diddy. There's some black in you somewhere. I don't know where it is yet, but I'm not gonna let you just go with straight white. No, can't,
Well, I
can't.
told you I prefer other, but
Other.
to to
I'll go.
steal
Okay.
to steal a euphemism, I'm invited to the cookout.
Absolutely, absolutely, and knows not to bring potato salad. Absolutely.
Well, it at least knows not to put raisins in potato salad.
Applause right there. That's a clap.
we're
That's definitely a clap.
we are a whole whopping 15 minutes into this and already acting the fool with raisins and potato salad.
Because this is what we do, man. It's like we are the connection. We're gonna help the world find peace somehow. I don't
and
know how.
and I
Like
think
it's
that
just
brings us in one of and I guess pull the curtain back, right? So
uh,
traditionally in radio or TV or even in the podcast world, I guess people would do a rundown or a production sheet and they'd have a rundown meeting. I sent you an invite to a Google Meet with 3 points on it.
that was it.
Introduce ourselves, talk about the premise, and try to figure out a name for this. And that was the extent of our rundown, right?
And that's I mean, here we go. We are in, and we're gonna make something happen.
Right.
Just that
So
easy.
I think that you and I together, and for for the listening audience, the background on us, we've known each other what, eight, almost
About 8 years.
9 years.
Yeah, yeah, almost. Yeah, about 8, 9 years now.
Yeah,
It's been great. It's been a hell of a run.
yeah. No, we've had some deep conversations. We've had some ridiculous conversations.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
and I think the dynamic of you and I, and why I wanted to do the introductions, one, that 3 year age gap, again, same generation, black
Hmm.
guy, white guy. You would be from the described north. I have self described myself as from the south. Again, we may have people argue that. Either way, if we look at, I would describe my upbringing. You came from a single parent household. I had my mom and then a stepdad, but my stepdad was there. He's all I ever remember, so he was my dad, and he never did the stepdad thing. And I covered that in um, a episode of the actual proper Hello Friends podcast. But
Hmm.
I would define us as upper middle class. My mother, who actually lived it, needed to know the finances, may argue that, and I get that from a parental standpoint, right? I know what my financial situation was in the household as an adult, and listen to my kids talk about their childhood, talk about we was rich, but you don't know, you weren't anything, but we were not rich.
See, that's like, see, that's in our generation, and you know this. That was an episode of the Cosby Show when the kid said, "What? But we're rich," and Cliff and Claire said, "No, your parents, we're rich. You have nothing." that's
That's right.
that's how that goes. People got to understand that portion right there. I'm a little bit different. Like I said, single parent household. So my mom worked for everything that she got and everything that she gave us. Now we felt like we didn't want for anything, but we also knew how hard my mom had to work in order to get us what she felt we needed because we didn't, the things that we wanted, we didn't always get. Say that 100% hands down. Everything that we wanted, we did not always get. We got what we needed, but we didn't really want for anything. Some things that we did want, she got us. So I don't really, re- I don't remember wanting a lot, asking my mom for a lot that she didn't get me. So I understand that, but I don't middle class. I don't think we were middle class. I don't think we were middle class. We were somewhere in that lower end,
And
lower
I
middle,
think
higher lower. I don't know how you would even put that out there.
that's what I say. And I think if we had the ability to have them on, they would set us straight on where the households actually fell. But I think for at least our fundamental development, how we perceived it is more important than what it actually
Yeah,
was. Because I would agree with you that the reason I view it as upper middle class is, looking back, I didn't want for anything.
right.
I'm sure in the moment there were things I wanted that I didn't get, and I was like, "Man, this sucks. Why don't I get it?" But
Hmm.
everything that I needed to survive and have good quality of life was provided to me and my siblings. So I think both of our upbringings provided us a solid foundation of not going without anything of any substance, right? Maybe in the
Absolutely.
moment we didn't get the game or the toy or whatever we wanted,
Right.
but
Right.
generally we lived good upbringings.
Yeah.
Regardless of the
Exactly.
financial situations that we were in, the way we perceived it is very similar.
Yeah, and sometimes I had a lot of look at God moments, you know. It was like I wanted a skateboard. I don't even remember if I asked my mom for a skateboard, but it was one late night. I'm outside and oh look, there's a skateboard. Look at God. You know, it's one of those moments. So I had a lot of look at God moments. I just, it was what it was. But I think I was pretty good when it came to whatever my mom gave me. I was happy with, content with, and again, we didn't want for anything, so we came up pretty well. But again, New York, it was a different era back then, and a lot of things that people went through and stuff that I went through personally that we can talk about later on. It also helped develop the person that I am now. Change up a couple of things and change up some of my life. I had to live a different life from New York to Virginia. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
no, and I think as we progress through this, and our intent is for this to be a weekly thing and run 45 minutes, hour, maybe a little longer, based on how these things go, is to
Mhm.
explore topics like race and racism, and
All right.
how were we similar and how were we different, and are those differences actually different? Uh, because I think what you and I have figured out through conversations and through knowing each other, with as different as our backgrounds are, we're not so different. And
Not at all.
that's what I think is missing, whether it is reality or what's being force fed by the media to keep whatever racial divides going. And I think it's a combination of both. That we I think our conversations have shown you're not different, right? It's
Exactly. Absolutely. We're not different at all. Like Dave would be my brother. And anytime we would be out in the street, that's my bro. That's my brother right there. This is Dave. Like for where we are now as a people and society is like it's kind of fucking annoying. I'm sorry I had to drop that big one right there. But it's annoying to see how people are now based on when you really get to know somebody, you can see that you're not that far off. You're not that far off. And when you know that you're not that far off from someone, it makes things so much easier. It makes things so much better. It's like you start to go to work just for the the people that's around. It's not even about the job, it's about you go for the people that's there. I went to work for, somebody else, because I knew that they would be there. They would help the day go by smoother. But nowadays, it's like everybody is so gung ho on I'm better than you. You're not on the same level as me or the same page that I'm on. It's really annoying. It's just really annoying to walk around in today's society and try to live a very happy life. And it is doable. We just got to figure out how to get to that. So I think that this is definitely a way that we can help try to bridge a gap. I think we can bridge a gap right here.
yeah,
Because I don't know all of your friends. You don't know all of my friends. But I'm sure that we can make the connection between some of our friends and it'll be a good connection.
yeah, definitely. And I think that coming into it is the intention, right? Is
Right.
it, and you're calling out today's society, and I would agree that the biggest problem, as I see it, with today's society is uh, we're we've taken the concept of my feelings and pushed it so far past what it should be that we no longer
Hmm.
consider somebody else's feelings or beliefs. And
Right.
if you don't agree with me, then you're just wrong on every aspect. And what is presented as we need to be inclusive has become so exclusive that if
Yeah.
you're not in with your group, you are right. It's
It's yeah, you're right. Because so this has been my thing lately. I'd say it's for a while, but this has been my thing lately that I've been trying to express to people. And it's an American thing. We don't use words for literal meaning. We use them for figurative meaning. Like we take words, like you said, it's about my feelings. How I feel about these words is more important than what the actual word means. Let's agree to disagree. If you say that, you should really be able to agree that you both do not agree on what you're talking about. But you should be able to take that and say, all right, but let's move on and we're all good. But people will say, okay, well, let's agree to disagree and then keep the topic going. There's no need for it. Once you've agreed to disagree, that means you've made an agreement between the two of you to not agree on what you're talking about. But it's okay. Let's move on. And we won't do that. we continue to let our feelings drive this bus. And once we start driving a bus, a bus is real sturdy. I didn't even put us behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler or something. I put us in a bus. But a bus can make a lot of damage if it doesn't stop. And that's how people move forward nowadays. They're really so concerned more about their feelings and how they feel about things that they're not willing to let that go. And they'll keep saying words there that mean, yeah, I'm good with it. I'm all right with it. But then they say words like but. And once you throw a but in there, that means you have more to say. There shouldn't be anything left to say. So a lot of people argue for nonsense and go back and forth because of nonsense, because they really don't understand the words that they're using when they say these words. So hopefully, we can get to a day where people will understand and they'll stop calling me an asshole for saying stuff like that. But I'm like, I know that makes sense. I know it makes sense. I just need somebody to agree with me that it makes sense. And then we start moving forward to try to help people understand how that makes sense.
Well, and I think that's the tough part, right? That and and it's not even that hard. We make it hard. Um,
Yes.
yeah, we just had 2 days ago the anniversary of 9/11, and if you
Yeah.
look at this country post 9/11 and the way that we rallied together as a nation, regardless of race or creed,
Mm-hmm.
it, or Hurricane Katrina, natural disaster, insert whatever
Yeah.
huge event tragedy here, we we come together as a unit and lift each other up and help each other. But in the absence of that, we fall back to dying on stupid hills, and I'm going to
There
air
you go.
quote hills, because the issues we die on aren't that big. They're not. It's not like you're dying on an important mountain. To your point,
Right.
I'm going to butt and continue to argue the most minuscule detail of something that's irrelevant and
Mm-hmm.
create a divide.
Yep. Yep. And there's some people that say that on a regular basis. Like, we'll protest something that has happened, but we'll protest it for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We don't see a change. All right, we go right back to what we were doing before. It's over. So yeah, we'll come together, like you said, we'll come together, we'll support, but it doesn't last long enough. It's like it wasn't a real change. It's like it was fake. So it jumps into the fake news aspect. All things that can be talked about down the road, but it all jumps into, what's really fake. The way that we come together, is that fake? Or is that the realest part of our inside? Is that the realest part of our heart, our mind, our body, and our soul? Is that the realest part of us finally getting a chance to express, hey, I'm in here. This is what we do. But then we got to get caught back up into living in this worldly world of ours. And I got to let that shit go, because can't nobody see my soft side. If you see my soft side, then you're going to start calling me soft. And I can't let nobody think I'm soft all day. It's like we have to find our true selves as people, because we've lost it somewhere in this ride of life. We've lost our true selves, which is our true value. And if we don't get there again, man, we're in for a tough ride. And our kids are in for a tough ride. And their kids are in for a tough ride. Because unfortunately, your 50 and my 47, we're not going to be here for the rest of their lives. Hopefully that's how it goes. Nobody wants to see their kids go before them. But we got to do something in order to make sure that our kids and the generations to come are going to be good with each other, rather than being here and it's just civil war, bang out, black against white, color versus color. You know, it's just reckless. It's reckless. I'm kind of tired of it, but I will say it does make for good entertainment. It definitely makes for good entertainment. Some people are just so reckless out here when they talk and when they do different things. It's like, I don't believe you just said that. And it gives us something to talk about right
Well,
here.
that's the we like drama, right?
Yeah.
That you reality shows manufacture drama, put people in stressful situations because that'll draw ratings. The
Hmm.
news, if it bleeds, it leads. Nobody cares about the good news. We want to hear the bad news.
All day, all day. That's all that counts right now. Bad news. I think we've talked about that before. As far as good news, if we did anything with good news, would it get the ratings that the bad news gets?
Yeah, no,
People,
I think
people.
I think it'd be great to do, and I do think we had that conversation once. That could you do a show that was nothing but good news? And I don't think people would watch it.
Right, right. Think they'd get tired of it. I'm not watching this. Oh, what happened? Well, somebody was blessed today. Turn.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody got shot. All right, where? What kind of gun did they use? It's like that type of energy always expressed. That's what we live in. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Getting tired of it. I'm really getting tired of it. And now, the direction that we're going right now. Hey, I don't know. Let me ask you this, because we have not chopped this up, and this was always a topic of ours over the years. What do you think is going to happen after election day this year? On either side, doesn't really matter. Win or lose is that's the thing that keeps ringing out to me, the win or lose factor, because that was said. So what do you think is going? What are you looking forward to after election day?
So I think I finally reached the point in we are 8 years removed from Trump kind of turning the political system on its head by
Hmm.
getting elected. Um, I think I finally realized, in maybe a little late in life, the president is not as powerful as people think. Trump
Nope.
didn't fuck us up in his first four. We didn't end up in some nuclear war. Yeah, the perception of America across the world changed. Um, Biden hasn't screwed us as a nation, right? In the When you think about it in its totality, right? Post
Right.
election, our lives are going to go on. They
Right.
Whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, nothing changes with either in there. The Because the president can't do anything to change it.
Right.
Our system is set up to be in a constant state of stalemate, in my opinion. There is no progression, it's just constant argue. Point,
Yeah.
counterpoint, my side, your side, you know,
Marketing and promoting money,
yeah.
money
So,
all day long.
so you know, it, I think I've reached a point where, and I've been at this for a while, that politicians I could give two shits about. Both our choices at this point are non-choices. You're getting the status quo with a different wrapper, regardless of who ends up in there. Right? We've seen 4 years of Trump. We know what that's going to look like. Harris isn't going to venture that far off of Biden's agenda. So 4 more years of what we've seen for the last four. It, looking back, I don't know how many transformative presidents we've had in the history of this nation where we can point to somebody and say, oh, highly impactful. What? JFK, FDR, uh, Lincoln, being 70s babies growing up heavily in the 80s. Maybe you could say Reagan
Maybe you could
with
say Reagan. Yeah.
Reaganomics, right? And again, the first true kind of crossover of not a career politician coming in and being able to make a splash. But
Right.
generally, eh, I don't know. I think that's been hyped up and set in our head, right? The president's the most powerful person in the world. Bullshit. He sits in an office. He or she gets to veto Congress. There's no real power there anymore. Uh,
That's the view. I look at it like exactly that. It's the we give a person a 4 year to an 8 year chance at changing all of whatever has happened for all of the years that the United States has been functioning. Let's put it like that. Everybody that's been in that position, you give them 4 to 8 years to do the job. Now, the United States of America, I look at it as just a company. It's the United States. These states have come together and they have formed this company or this corporate called America. And we have a president that runs it, right? Anything goes wrong and these states feel like they don't want to follow the president anymore, they have governors, right? The governor becomes the now what? The president of the state. We take the word governor away, they're the president of the state, right? The dog agrees with me. So that's how I'm looking at it. It's like anything can happen where a state says, hey, this right here is bullshit. I'm not following this anymore. We're not following that. We're going to do this our way. We're going to do this because it doesn't make sense. And now we all follow the governor of that state, which now becomes the president of that state because we're no longer a part of the United States of America. We've snatched ourselves out of that company. Moving forward, take it away from the politics side of it.
HIPAA.
The amount of people that have been stirred up with all of this racial tension moving forward, the amount of people that have been stirred up with all of the racial tension, and you got a guy in there who's just a loose cannon, says whatever he wants, you know, sparks the fire however he wants to spark the fire, he does it. Lies whenever he wants to out of his mouth, whenever he wants, just makes up stuff if he wants to. The stuff that he's saying, once you say the words win or lose to me, again, New York born and bred, raised, Virginia taught me all about life. Once you say win or lose to me, that means something, there's going to be some tension. There's definitely going to be some tension no matter who wins this election. That's what I see. I see
I
that there's
agree
going to
with
be.
that, but I think that that tension already exists, right?
Yes, it does.
He's already stirred his base. He's been stirring his base for the last 3.5 years since he lost.
Right.
And
So,
it,
so the question is, do you see him lighting a fuse? Do you see that fuse being lit the very next day once we find out who the winner is? Because the tension is, I mean, is there. The tension is there. So much so that, you know, it's just people walking. When you drive by houses and you see, you know, Harris signs in the yard, or you see Trump signs in the yard, you immediately make a judgment on that person. The tension is there. And when you use words like win or lose, when you express different things out there that say, well, if I lose, it's going to be a bloodbath. Like when you have these different things in the air, how do you think you would be ready to handle a situation of civil war right here in America, based off the fact of people that like them and people that don't, people that like her and people that don't, people that's trying to protect themselves and people that's trying to hurt other people? Just because, again, words being used and people not thinking of the literal meaning of these words.
well, I think that goes back to your earlier point of people using words more in line with feel and feeling
Mhm.
than literal. So I think when you frame the premise of civil war, I don't know that I have any concern regarding that, regardless of outcome, because I think the people that would be interested in engaging with that are the fringe of both sides, the extremists of either party, and they are the very vocal minority. That there aren't enough of them to spark anything of substance. Is there potential for January 6th type actions to take place? Most definitely. Is
Hmm.
there the potential, in my opinion, for full scale civil war? Uh, I think the vast majority of people fall into the middle and
Hmm.
have enough sense to be like, it's not that fucking serious.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Now,
And that's
I might be wrong, but I'd like to give us as at least a little bit of credit that common sense would prevail to be like, this is not worth dying over or killing someone over when you apply it to the masses. Again, I think there's
Mhm.
fringe aspects on both sides that may try to fly that flag, but generally I would like to think we have more sense than that.
I'm praying so. I hope so. Because I'm really on the fence when it comes to that. I don't think that I think that we're waiting on somebody to just push that one person over or push whatever the weight is on the scale. It's just one little weight that needs to go for either side. And I feel like we're at a point now where we've seen so much and heard so much and done so much. Like, people are ready to act up for no reason, and you're acting up for no reason whatsoever. Because he won't. For one, we don't get to know each other. For two, everything is Democrat or Republican. That's it. That's the only thing that counts. Democratic or Republican. And it's like we need to get at a break. We need to give it a rest. The money that funds all of this stuff, the money that runs the world, is either Democrat or Republican. All the different things that are done to perpetuate a system are all done based off of money and who has it, who spends it. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the best. I'm definitely hopeful for the best. But sometimes I do expect the worst. And when it doesn't happen, I feel great.
That's
When it
there is the truest testament to where we are in our societal development. I expect the worst, and when it doesn't happen, I feel great.
That's it. When it doesn't happen, I feel great. That's it. That's the only way I can explain it. When it does not happen, I feel fantastic. But you know, that's just where we are right now. So we got a lot that we looking forward to and a lot that we can touch on because there's a lot of crap out here. There's definitely a lot of crap out here. And I think we can touch base on a lot of this crap for a very long time.
Oh, you know that's right. So
Yeah.
I do want to transition though to what we're going to call this thing,
Oh
and
man.
and I think all that we've done to this point actually leads well into the idea that I have.
And which is what? I mean, what you got?
So I want to call it the gray.
The gray.
Yep. And here's the
Yeah.
tag.
Okay.
We're black and white, but the
Mhm.
world isn't. Welcome to the gray.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Shit sounds great to me. We're black and white, but the world isn't. Welcome to the gray. Let's go ahead and green like that, man.
Oh, so you gonna thumbs that up? You not even gonna come and try to give it a true that's cringy or we could
Nah, fuck
workshop
that.
it,
Let's just
nothing. You gonna green light it right off the bat.
green light out the gate. Green light out the gate. I'm black. He's white. The world isn't. Welcome to the gray.
We benchmark this. We are what is the timestamp? Sean Greenlit.
Timestamp.
Sean Greenlit with no argument.
No
A
argument
creative
whatsoever.
decision.
No argument whatsoever. We don't have time for arguments. Let's go. We don't have time for all of that. Let's go. If we decide to change our mind down the road, so what? It's still a gray.
All right.
It's not.
So I think it conveys what we want to accomplish is that, and we've touched on it even in that last political discussion, that everybody wants things to be clear cut, black and white, and
Mhm.
it's not.
It's not.
We live in a world of gray. Gray is where we should be because that's what reality is. And
And gray
until we
looks
can,
good on me. My fault. Go ahead.
no,
I went rogue for a second.
no, you're
Gray,
fine.
gray looks good on me. I like gray. Gray is a good color. I've seen you in a couple of gray suits. Gray looks good. Let's rock with gray.
So I think when we talk about bridging gaps and hopefully, again, if we can get people to listen to this, showing that there is common ground, and I think there's lots of people out there that are in very similar situations to you and I, where diverse backgrounds come together and they're friends and they have commonalities and it's a strong relationship. I just don't think that's what is portrayed. People aren't shown that, right?
Right.
Um, and again,
Social
I think
media.
a lot it's the extremes. The extremes of anything are what people pay attention to, but that's not what life is.
Not at all. Social media has drawn a blurred line in the lifeline. It's definitely giving a blurred line that people are trying to focus in on, and it's creating a world of, if you do this, you don't even have to worry about that's going on, and you'll never worry about that because all you do is this. So if you're walking around with a selfie stick all day and you're snapping pictures, how can you be concerned about what's going on in other places or right in your own neighborhood? You can't, because you're walking around all day long snapping pictures and showing people a falsehood of what life is, and especially your life. So absolutely. Yeah, we can talk about a lot of shit all day. There's 365 days in a year. And actually, it should be more than that if you really break down weeks and months, and we get into that. It's real. I really think it's like 13 months in a year. But who am I? But
What are you, what are you using the accounting calendar? Yeah.
hey man, if you look at it, you think about it, you count it up. There's 13 months, man. We just we don't recognize that. There's 13 months. The clock, every number across from the clock adds up to 13, doesn't it? Like 12 and 1 is 13, 11 and 2 is 13, 10 and 3 is 13, 9 and 4 is 13. I mean, I think there's something about the number 13. There's no 13th floor in the elevator in a hotel. There's no 13 in the numbers. Like,
Right.
what's up with the number 13, man? Today's
Did,
Friday the 13th. I
I was
mean,
getting
like, what
ready
are
to
we
say,
doing?
did you come with that preloaded in your pocket? Because today
I
that we're
did not. I
recording this is
absolutely
Friday the
didn't.
13th. You were like,
I
watch me
promise.
get this number
I,
13 tie in here.
I promise you, I did not. It's just hitting me right now. Somebody told me. I didn't even realize today was Friday the 13th. Somebody told me earlier today, and it's just now coming back to me right now. But now, all of that stuff is like popping into my mind. Like, hey, what's up with the number 13? But we can talk about that on another day. Today would
That's
have been a good day, but hey, next year is even better. Next time it happens, big. No reason to jump on it now, but I mean, but why is that though?
No,
Why?
write that down for
All right,
topics to be discussed,
all right.
and we gonna figure out why 13 is important. And
Yeah, it's something about it, man. It's really something about the number 13 that's important enough that they want to dismiss it. Why is it so important that they don't want it to be relevant?
so now I'm gonna ask because I know you're off today. Have you smoked already? Because
Absolutely not. I have
you were
taken a
going
break.
way deep on 13.
I am on hiatus. I have
That's
not smoked. I have not.
so 13 is just natural deep for you.
Naturally right now, it's just it's at the top of my brain, like, yo, Talk about the number 13. All right. That's what just happened. I don't know why, but that's what happened. Hey, did you tell him about 13? No, I didn't. Tell him now. Okay. Why is it that the number 13 they like you they try to erase the number 13? What's wrong with the number 13? What is the significance of 13? I
Well,
gotta figure that out.
historically, at least in our lifetime, it has been deemed an unlucky number, and we can deep dive whether it's lucky or unlucky. And to your point, why 13 is trying to be erased or what its true relevance is.
Gotta figure that out. Feel like we gotta figure that out. There's a need. There's a need to figure out what's up with 13, man. How many hotels have you stayed in with the 13th floor?
Uh, I mean, most of the places I stay don't have buildings that are that tall, so not many.
Okay, but
But I think
yeah,
most buildings skip that. It has a 13th floor, but it's labeled as 14, right? They
right. It
skip.
goes 12 to 14.
Yeah.
12th floor, 14th floor. And again, if there's supposedly 4 weeks in a month, but if you count these months that have the 31 days or the extra week or whatever, you put enough of them together, that's another 4 weeks.
Well, it's 4.333333 repeating weeks in a month.
And by the time you get to that 4.3333, there's a whole month there.
Yeah, so
That's 13 months.
that's why I said if you're using an accounting calendar, which is 4 solid weeks for a month, then we are at 13. You could even the calendar out.
There you go. 13.
The Roman calendar is weird with this month has 28 days, this month has 30, this month has 31, and I think historically it was tied to the different equinoxes and season changes and whatever else. It's not clean by any means.
Well, I've written it down, so we don't have to go into it now. We're not going to deep dive now. I'm going to go do some more research.
That's
I'm going to do some more research.
researching 13.
I'm going to research 13. Didn't they make some movies about that number? I think there was. I don't know. I think there was a movie called 13. I don't know.
I know there was a movie called 7. That was good.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, I like that. Did you check out Beetlejuice? I checked out Beetlejuice.
No, you went and saw that yesterday, didn't you?
I did. Well, I went to sleep during the beginning of it. I was a little tired. And I woke back up.
The official The Gray review of Beetlejuice. Sean went to sleep in the beginning of it.
I went to sleep in the beginning of it. I did go to sleep. I woke up. It got a little interesting. I woke up and I laughed a little bit. But that was that. So yeah, Beetlejuice, we can talk about that. We can definitely do some movie reviews. Yeah, because I finally saw, even though it came out back in 2013. I mean, not 13, 17. Actually, the number 13 is just stuck in my mind. Brawl in Cell Block 99. Why you didn't tell me about that one?
I haven't seen that one, and I watch lots of movies. And who is in
You
that?
haven't seen it? Vince Vaughn.
Oh, okay. I saw the previews for that. It's the one the preview or the trailer I think has him beating the crap out of the two guards down below.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. Yeah. Go watch that today. Matter of fact, once we sign off of this, go watch that. Vince Vaughn, man, the principal in this movie. Definitely a different role for him. Not the funny, but you can see when you look at Vince Vaughn, you're going to find something funny in anything Vince Vaughn anyway. But this was not the role that he played in this. Man, the principal. That's all I can give you. I don't want to tell you anything else until you watch the movie, and then we'll talk.
All right, so that's on my list, and you have now set precedent that we have to do a movie recommendation at the end of every episode.
Absolutely. We'll keep this one with Brawl in Cell Block 99. Anybody that has not seen that yet, check that out. Vince Vaughn. It is definitely not The Breakup. It is definitely not anything else Vince Vaughn has ever done. This one right here gets a stamp of approval as Vince Vaughn doing anything serious moving forward. Brawl in Cell Block 99. Man of principle.
All right,
That's the
fair.
tag they should put on that movie.
So
Man of principle.
there you have it. Brawl in Cell Block 99 is the official rec coming out of this episode. We have accomplished everything that we had on the list. We have introduced ourselves. I think we talked enough that people will get a gist for what it is we're going to do, and we got a title. So
Got it.
we go ahead and wrap this thing up. I'm Dave. He's Sean. This is The Gray, and we'll talk to you next time.
Peace.